most important facts about the life of Martin Luther King.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream.
General information about the person.
Who was Martin Luther King? Martin Luther King Jr. was an American pastor in Baptist Church, recognized for his intensive work as a social activist for the rights of African American citizens in the territory of the United States, as well as against the Vietnam War and generally against poverty. His long human and social rights activity in historic context of racial segregation and rejection of inequality between in the United States has established him one of the heroes and martyrs of contemporary humanity. His leadership is considered example to love. His doctrine of nonviolent protest has pressing for resistance and equality. His indubitable ability and large unmet Luther King was exponent in the fight for society, a historic moment with black and white and the part of the past. Since 1986, there has been a public holiday in his honor in the United States as a way to contest memory and legacy alive.
Biography.
Hi, my name is Valeria Gonzalez. Let's start by talking a bit about her biography. Martin Luther King, born in January 15 and in 1929 and died on April 4 in 1968 and was an American Christian minister and activist who became the most visible spokesperson and later in the civil rights movement from 1955 until his assassination in 1968. Martin Luther King to the second three children, to the Reverend Michael King and Alberta King. King's mother named him Michael, which were entered onto the birth certificate B the arterial physician. King Sir stated that Michael was a mistake by the physician. King's maternal grandfather, Alan Daniel Williams, who was a minister in rural Georgia, moved to Atlanta in 1893 and became pastor of the Ebenezer Baptist Church in the following year. William was of African Irish descent. Williams married Jenny Celeste Parks, who gave birth to King's mother, Alberta. King's father was born to sharecroppers, James Albert and Delia Kings of Stockbridge, Georgia.
Achievements.
Hello, my name is Marlon José Romero. We say the achievements be Martin Luther King. The King's achievements and numerous of these most important achievements were no social change, duties, community peace, no violence and equality for Martin Luther King, protests for civil rights were able to make real progress in the American society and able King to contribute to success of the movement for civil rights, despite the fact that his oppressor exerted force and brutally the King's insisted on evading violence, which also put his followers in practice was important factor. The respect and recognition given to the civil rights movement for a time of concern and discomfort in the state. Boycott Montgomery. In Montgomery, Alabama, King the I boycott and the city balls, the result allowed blacks to sit in the front seat of the bus, abused quickly and following. Fronting a city with boycott and the bus system until the rollers were changed. Ultimately, after King and his followers were sent to hide, the boycott was successful and the unified and resistant loud and allowed for segregation on the board. The buses was changed. This was a success for the civil rights movement and gained national attention. His famous I Have a Dream. In the 1963, the King and the other leaders of the civil rights movement organized a major march for equal rights in Washington, D.C., with a massive crowd of over 200,000 followers. The march was protesting racial discrimination in deployment, racial separatists in the school, and the minimum wage was demanded of all workers. It was later catering in the Washington, and the seat of one of King's most famous speech, "I Have a Dream." As a result of the march and the peace, the national citizens began to put increasing pressure on the John F. Kennedy president administration, encouraging the president to push for civil rights laws to pass through Congress and national level.
They rule less in society.
Good afternoon and good night, teacher and classmate. My name is Naomi Ventura. My topic is 60th Martin Luther King Achievement. King achievements are numerous. The most important achievements were: number one, non-violent social change. Due to this commitment to peace, non-violence, and equality for all, Martin Luther King protects for civil rights were able to make right a progress in American society, enabling King to contribute to the civil rights movement foreign times on South in discomfort in the United States. Two, boycott Montgomery. In Montgomery, King led a boycott of city buses that refused to allow blacks to sit in the front seat of the bus system until the ruler were changed. Ultimately, a Father King and his followers were sent to jail. The boycott was successful, and the fire and rights law that allowed for segregation or board bus was changed. This was success for the civil rights movement and gained national attention. Number three, his famous "I Have a Dream." I have 1963. Leader of the civil rights movement organized a major march for equal rights in Washington, D.C., with a massive crowd of more than 200,000 followers. Their motto was foresting racial discrimination in employment, racial separatism, and insult and a minimum wage was demanded of workers. This was the leader gaining most famous speeches. I Have a Dream, As a Fierce for Love, the March, the Peace, the Nation. Citizens began to put increasing pressure on the John F. Kennedy presidential administration, encouraging the president to put civil rights laws to pass through Congress and recognize national level. Before I go, I want to share up Montgomery. He said, I have dreamed that my 4 children will one day live a national where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, by the content of their character. Thank you very much. My partner will continue with the exposition is Jonathan.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation.
Hello, teacher and classmate. My name is Jonathan Lopez. Today we'll talk about Martin Luther King in the next video. his famous I Have Dream. In 1963, King and other leaders of the civil rights movement organized a major march for equal rights in Washington, D.C., with massive crowd of more than 200,000 followers. The march was protesting racial discrimination in employment, racial separatism in school, and minimum wage was demanded of our workers. It was the largest gathering in Washington and the site of the King's most famous speeches, I Have Dream. As a result of the march and speech, the national citizens began to put increasing pressure on the John F. Kennedy presidential administration, encouraging the president to push for civil rights laws to pass through Congress and the recognized national level. Health employees striked in Memphis. In 1968, 1,300 black sanitation workers in Memphis protested its appalling working condition, discrimination, and low wage. It was clear that they were being discriminated against when they were sent home without pay while white workers stayed on the job. The strike lasted 64 days and became one of the most important civil rights events the American Federation of States, Country and Municipal Employees and Healthcare Workers demanded an end to discrimination, higher wage, and union recognition. This attracted the national media as well as others who joined the causes, as well as community leaders and members of the clergy. However, on April 4, 1968, Martin Luther King was killed by white segregationists. Civil rights movement for African Americans. This movement lasted between 1955 and 1968. Its objectives were the suppression of racial discrimination in many areas, such as public transport, employment, voting, and education. Notable laws during this time included Civil Rights Act of 1964. This prohibited discrimination in employment and public accommodation based on race, color, religion, or national origin. Immigration and National Service Act of 1965 allowed the immigration of groups other than those from traditional European countries. Fair Housing Act 1968 prohibited housing discrimination for sale or rent. The civil rights movement was concerted while the foundation of dignity, respect, liberty, and equality. Main achievement. In 1964, Martin Luther King Jr. was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for this nonviolent resistance to racial discrimination in the United States. The leader for the civil rights movement for African Americans was the youngest person to receive this award at the age of 35.